Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a sewer tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 323 North Main Avenue here in Ridgefield. We're located at the rear of the home. This is a triplex. We're over here. If you're looking at the unit from the street, we're at the rear right corner of the house. At the back, we have a 4-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. There's a little bit of a lip here on this clean out. Alright, we're going to zero out right here at the base of the clean out. Here we go. Looks like we have a little bit of standing water right off the bat there, and it is going right into concrete pipe. And I wanted to mention here that the way that this clean out transitioned over to concrete pipe, I'm not sure if we're in 6-inch or 4-inch. I suspect 4-inch. A few of these concrete joints, this one's a good example right here, are showing some debris or some kind of substance here kind of deposited on right at the joint. A lot of times what happens is these concrete joints will slowly but surely separate over time, and you'll get small amounts of dirt coming in. Usually it's actually from earthworms tunneling in and out of the sewer line will push all that dirt into the pipe. You can tell these joints are, to a certain extent, compromised, and I apologize for moving the camera like that. It's hard to keep the lens clean in here. Yeah, but all these joints, this one here as well, we've got a bunch of dirt and stuff coming through. They're compromised. At this point, unless we've got a root coming through, they're not affecting the functionality of the line, but they're much more open to the potential for roots and things to get in. This one right here is very large, and you could have roots potentially underneath that kind of stuff there. Your best bet would almost be to jet the sewer line or remove all that and re-scope to see what you got underneath there. But yeah, believe it or not, it's often earthworms that cause this kind of stuff. But all these dirt mounds here, I haven't seen any roots coming through them. So and a belly there. And here at 64 feet out, we have reached the terminus. I'm going to do locates just to verify where the line heads to, and then we'll let it drain out completely here before reeling back. I located the camera head successfully, or picked up the signal. The line goes beyond the, there's a fence at the far end of the rear of the property, and I was picking the signal up just beyond that, probably about 5 feet or so through that fence, looks like, so that's where it hits the terminus here. So as best I can tell, it looks like there may be some kind of easement. This line's not heading out to the front like your average house would. So something I would just double check into. It doesn't look like a something concerning like a party line. It looks like a pretty standard main lateral easement setup. Alright, we do have a triplex here that's occupied, so we're going to try and keep all the water off as best we can. But people are living here, so there's a decent chance we're going to have some water come down the line. So back here, looking in the back, I'm not nearly as concerned about these joints, at least at this time. I think if you're going to go ahead and start repairing those things, you might as well redo the entire sewer line. At this point, the line drained out. But if you follow that joint, we do have a root strand. It's kind of hard to see, but coming down the line right there, right in the flow line almost. So that one does have a root coming through, and we'll check all these out to see which ones do and don't. If we get many of these, I would recommend just redoing or doing a liner on it to just line the whole concrete section, and won't have to worry about those coming back through again. But I will get this marked for a spot repair here at the very least. At this time, the roots are small enough that they're not really affecting the flow all that much, but they generally will keep on growing until they do become a problem. So I always recommend they be repaired. But you can temporarily deal with them by doing hydrojetting and root killing foam. Alright, this particular spot is beyond the fence line. I'm not going to be able to get over there to put a marking down. Either way, though, I do recommend a repair be done. And I'll try and get on this side of the fence and at least get an idea of depth, but that one's got quite a bit of dirt coming through. I also have a root intrusion, so I would recommend dealing with that. And what happened here probably is the line settled, because you have a belly here as well, and the joints opened up and then the roots came through. So I'll also put a marking right here, as we do have an inch of standing water. Right at an inch is where I typically start to see debris build up. I had to pull the camera back here just a little bit further to get on this side of the fence to do a locate. I marked it right here at this joint, or about a foot from the fence. Put a big white X on the ground there. It's at about 2 feet 10 inches to 3 feet deep. It's quite shallow and easy to get to. Anyway, you'll have to kind of work your way forward or on the other side of the fence there to hunt the root intrusion down. That's pretty easy to figure out there. Another very large amount of dirt and stuff coming through here. So the fact that we've got roots coming through some of those means that likely are going to at some other point. These joints are compromised enough that that's why I say most of them have this going on. At this point, the functionality is not being affected, but it's going to cause this line to deteriorate much faster than it normally would. And you might as well do a full line update on it rather than to try and spot repair the sections that do and don't have that stuff. And the closer I look at some of these spots here, these are looking more and more like you've got root balls in there that are completely surrounded by mud. So we can pretty much consider most of these as root intrusions, it looks like. You have a much clearer picture of this stuff on the way out with it drained. Now, because of that reason, I do recommend a full update to it, although it is functioning. Basically every joint in the line is shot and compromised with root intrusions. Yeah, I'm just going to put some white dots, basically starting from the fence line all the way back to most likely the concrete transition. And we're at 2 feet 9 inches deep there. Most of this line is underneath. It looks like the concrete driveway back here. So this is one that you would really want to consider doing a pipe liner on. Generally with those, you don't have to dig a single hole. One thing we do have to check on here, though, the only disadvantage there in doing that is that you would end up with or retaining some of that belly there further down the line. You could also do a trenchless bore or something of that nature and burst the old one out of the way and drill a whole new one in. Yeah, pretty much all these joints here have got roots in them. There's just enough mud, it kind of makes it hard to see. A similar depth here, we're about 2 feet 9, 2 feet 10 inches deep. That's a spot where we've had some settling occur there. That's not a terribly significant amount of standing water. Alright, we need to have another belly here at the beginning of the line. This one starts here at about 13 feet and extends out to about 17 feet. This particular belly is holding closer to about 3/4 of an inch of water. It's right at the breaking point, which I generally recommend repairs be done. You can, if you're careful as what goes down the line, generally a belly like this is not going to cause you too many issues. But if you're putting paper towels and grease down the sink, stuff like that down there, they'll hang up in a spot like this really easily. And we do have it looks like a Y connection coming in here. This may be where the other units tie in. I'm not seeing any other cleanouts back here. But right in the middle of that is where we have a tie-in there. That could be for a storm drain, could be a lot of different things, but anyhow, I'm also going to mark this particular spot here, especially for rentals that are seeing a high volume of debris coming down them. They're much more likely for a belly like this to become a problem. Alright, I put another white dot right here. So once you get past this belly here, we've got about 15 feet, maybe 20 feet of concrete pipe that looks like it's in fairly good condition. But on either end of it, we've got issues with roots. And recommend redoing it. It is currently functioning. I'm not seeing a severe amount of debris buildup in there. The bellies that we have in the line are on the minimal side, but they are big enough to cause you problems. So I'm recommending repairs there. And with the amount of root intrusion going on the line, much of it is at a point of needing repair that, in my opinion, you might as well just do the whole thing if you're going to start digging this up, because pretty much the whole thing's under concrete. In this concrete section here at the beginning, this stuff is in fairly good condition as well. So if anything, if you wanted to, you could leave some of the original concrete in the ground. I would just recommend updating it all because it will wear out. Concrete always does. It's a lifespan thing. Slowly but surely, all that mortar will get worn out in there. It might be another 10 years, 15 years from now, but it's going to happen. So with the amount of work it would be, you could drill this thing in without having to dig too much, and that would be the way to go probably. But starting there at about 14 or 13 feet where this belly is at, I recommend from that point all the way out to 59 feet where our last root intrusion is at the very least be corrected. But I want to reiterate, the line is functioning, so it's one of those that I'd like to see it updated. A lot of it due to longevity issues. Those roots are going to end up, it's going to allow water and stuff to seep into the line. It just causes the joints to wear out. Eventually it will cause the pipe to collapse. Now, we do have currently, as we don't have any major blockages in the line, we do have adequate flow to the terminus. But I would recommend a full update here for longevity reasons. But it is doing its job currently. If you start putting stuff down there that shouldn't go down the line, those bellies and stuff are going to catch debris. But the first belly here starts about 15 feet or so away from where we're standing, and it goes all the way through the fence line there where the last issue is at. And I'm getting depths here almost completely consistently across this line where it's about 2 feet 8 inches to about 3 feet deep towards the end. And if you do a large repair, full line replacement, I highly recommend doing a rescope to make sure it was done correctly.